Hello, everybody. Listen to me very carefully. I need you to understand something today. Success is not complicated. It's not some secret formula only a few people know. It's not easy, but it's simple. See, people get confused. They think success is hard to understand, but it's not. It's hard. It's hard to do. Waking up at 4 a.m., simple, but not easy. Studying when everybody else is watching Netflix, simple, but not easy. Eating the right food, staying disciplined, staying locked in on your goals. All simple instructions, but not easy to stay consistent with. The problem is you're looking for easy. And when you look for easy, you lose. Because success doesn't live in easy. Success lives in discipline, sacrifice, and consistency. It's simple, but it requires you to pay the price. When you say you want to be successful, you've got to stop complicating the process. The formula is simple. Wake up early. Work hard. Stay focused. Don't quit. It's simple, but I never told you it was going to be easy. So I need you to leave here today with this mindset. Stop looking for shortcuts. Stop looking for comfort. Stop looking for comfort. Stop looking for easy. Easy won't give you the life you're dreaming of. But if you follow the simple principles, even when it's hard, even when you're tired, even when nobody believes in you, that's where greatness lives. Remember, it's not easy, but it's simple. Success is not complicated. It's consistent actions done daily. When we hear that line, at first it sounds simple, but that's the truth about life and success. The blueprint isn't confusing, but most people never reach the top because they fail to master consistency. Think about it. Everything you want is built on repetition. When you look at the greatest athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, the best leaders in the world, they are not necessarily the smartest, the strongest, or the most talented. They are the ones who showed up every single day and did the work even when they didn't feel like it. That's the piece people don't want to accept. Everybody loves inspiration for a day, motivation for a week, but very few people are willing to grind every day when it's no longer exciting, when it's painful, when it's boring, when nobody's clapping for it. That's the truth. Consistency beats intensity every single time. You don't need to understand every detail about success before you start. The formula is already written in life. You show up, you work, you repeat. The student who studies for an hour every day is going to beat the student who crams for 12 hours the night before. The person who eats healthy meals consistently will always outperform the person who diets for 2 weeks and then quits. It's about what you do daily, not what you do occasionally. Successful people understand that small, boring actions stack up over time to create extraordinary results. People underestimate the power of daily disciplines because the results are invisible at first. You go to the gym once, nothing changes. You go for a week, still not much different. That's where most people quit. But the successful ones know if they stay consistent for months and years, the transformation is guaranteed. The problem is people complicate success because they don't want to accept the truth that it requires them to do the same thing over and over with patience. They want new strategies, they want secrets, they want magic formulas. But the truth is the formula hasn't changed for centuries. Success is about doing the right things, the small things, again and again. Wake up early, work on your craft, improve your skill set, stay disciplined. If you do that every day, you win. But people want shortcuts. They want a way around the work. And that's why they fail. It's not because the formula is complicated. It's because their mind is searching for an easier way out. There is no easy way. There's only consistent work. Consistency is what builds trust in yourself. Every time you keep your promise to yourself, you grow stronger. Every time you follow through on what you say you do, you create momentum. But when you break your own promises, when you say you're going to wake up early, and then you don't. When you say you're going to study, and then you scroll your phone instead, you lose trust in yourself. Success is built on self-trust. If you can't trust yourself to do the little things, how can you expect to achieve the big things? That's why consistent daily action is the key. You're not just building habits, you're building identity. You're becoming the type of person who does what they say no matter what. That's powerful. Most people get motivated and then wait for the perfect moment to act. They say, I'll start when I feel ready. I'll start when things settle down. I'll start when I'm in the mood. That's not consistency. That's wishful thinking. The truth is you will never always feel like it. But if you only act when you feel like it, you'll never get anywhere. Successful people don't ask, do I feel like it? They say, what needs to be done? And then they do it. That's the mindset shift. Discipline is doing what you say you do long after the mood you set in is gone. Consistency is showing up when the excitement has faded, when the motivation has dried up, when it's inconvenient. That's the difference between winners and everyone else. Think about compound interest. 1 penny doubled every day becomes millions in a month. But on day 1, day 2, day 5, it looks like nothing. That's how success works. Consistent daily actions may look small at first, but they compound into greatness. If you write 1 page a day, you have a book in a year. If you practice your instrument for 30 minutes a day, in a year, you'll be ahead of almost everyone else. If you save a little money every day, in 10 years, you'll have financial freedom. But the catch is, most people can't stick with something that long. They quit too early. They say it's not working. But the truth is, it was working. They just didn't stay consistent long enough to see the results. Success is boring at times. So waking up and doing the same thing again. It's sticking to your schedule when your friends are out partying. It's putting in work while others are relaxing. It's grinding when nobody notices. That's the price. The consistency is what separates the dreamers from the achievers. Anyone can dream. Everyone has goals, but the only ones who make it are the ones who turn their goals into daily habits. Because habits run your life. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. And habits are built by what you do every single day, not what you do once in a while. If you want success, you have to fall in love with the process. Not just the results, not just the applause, not just the rewards. The process, the day-to-day grind, the practice, the repetition, because that's where greatness is born. Kobe Bryant didn't become the Black Mamba because of one game. He became great because he was the first in the gym and the last to leave every day, year after year. Practiced the same moves thousands of times until it became second nature. That's consistency. Michael Jordan didn't make it because of one highlight. He showed up every day, worked harder than everyone else, and demanded consistency from himself and his teammates. That's why they're legends. Not because they did something once, but because they did it relentlessly. The truth is, success doesn't require genius. It requires grit. It requires showing up daily and doing the work. If you can master that, you don't need to be the most talented. Talent can win sometimes, but consistency always beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. There are millions of talented people who never made it because they lack discipline. There are average people who became great because they never missed a day. Which one do you want to be? So I'm telling you right now, stop complicating success. Stop waiting for the perfect plan. Stop chasing the magic formula. It's not complicated. You already know what to do. You know you need to work out. You know you need to eat right. You know you need to study. You know you need to stay focused. You know you need to save your money. The problem isn't knowledge. The problem is consistency. And until you master that, nothing else matters. Consistency is the foundation of everything. Without it, you can't build discipline. You can't build skill. You can't build trust. You can't build results. With it, you can build anything you want. Success is not about how fast you move. It's about how long you can keep moving. It's a marathon, not a sprint. The winners are not the ones who run the fastest in the beginning, but the ones who keep running when everybody else quits. So today, make a decision. Not to be perfect, not to be the best instantly, but to be consistent. Promise yourself that you will show up daily. That no matter how small the action is, you will keep stacking bricks. Because every brick laid daily builds the wall of success. Don't worry about how high the wall is right now. Just keep laying bricks. In time, you will look up and see that you built something massive, something unshakable. That's how success is created. Remember this, success is not complicated. It's consistent actions done daily. Simple, not easy. But if you master consistency, if you show up every single day, there is nothing you cannot achieve. The instructions are simple, but following them requires sacrifice. That is the truth most people do not want to face. They want the dream without the price tag. They want the success, but they do not want the sacrifice. And here's the reality. Life will always demand a payment before it gives you the reward. Nothing is free. Everything you want, whether it's a degree, a business, a championship, or financial freedom, comes with a cost. The steps are not complicated. If you want to lose weight, the instruction is simple. Eat clean, exercise, rest. If you want to be great at your craft, the instruction is simple. Practice, study, learn. If you want to build wealth, the instruction is simple. Earn, save, invest. It's simple to understand, but it's not easy to do because it means you have to give something up. And most people are willing to let go of comfort, distractions, or old habits. They want to add success to their life without removing the things that are holding them back. That's not how it works. Sacrifice means choosing what you want most over what you want now. It means giving up temporary pleasure for permanent progress. It means saying no to things that feel good in the moment but destroy your future. The instruction is simple. Study instead of sleep. Train instead of party. Invest instead of spend. But that's where people quit. Not because they don't understand, but because the cost feels too high. And yet the cost of not sacrificing is even greater. If you refuse to sacrifice, you sacrifice anyway. You sacrifice your dreams, your potential, your future. The truth is, either way you're going to pay. You either pay the price now with discipline or pay later with regret. The question is not whether you'll sacrifice, but what you'll sacrifice for. Think about every champion you admire. They didn't just follow simple instructions, they sacrificed to follow them. Muhammad Ali said it best. I hated every minute of training, but I said, don't quit. Suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion. That's sacrifice. Ali understood the instruction was simple. Train harder than anyone else. But he also understood it required him to give up comfort, give up his body, give up hours of his life in the gym, while others were relaxing. He chose sacrifice, and because of that, he became the greatest. Sacrifice is the filter that separates those who want success from those who are willing to earn it. Everybody wants to be successful until they realize what it will cost. Success will cost you sleep. Success will cost you sleep. Success will cost you time with friends. Success will cost you comfort. Success will cost you weekends, vacations, sometimes even relationships. And here's the tough part. The instructions themselves don't demand much. Wake up early, study, practice, focus. But the world around you will test whether you're willing to give up the things that make those instructions hard. You can't wake up early if you're out partying every night. You can't focus if you're glued to your phone all day. You can't save money if you're spending to impress people. The instructions are simple, but following them requires sacrifice. Sacrifice is also about discipline with your mind. Because the hardest thing to sacrifice is not food, not money, not time. It's comfort and excuses. We get addicted to comfort. We get addicted to doing what's easy. But comfort is the enemy of growth. You cannot have both. Growth requires pain, discomfort, and sacrifice. If you want to build muscles, you sacrifice comfort by pushing through soreness. If you want to learn, you sacrifice comfort by struggling through difficult problems. If you want to succeed in business, you sacrifice comfort by risking rejection, failure, and long hours. Every step forward demands something from you. But here's the beauty of sacrifice. Once you pay the price, the reward is yours forever. Temporary sacrifices lead to permanent blessings. You skip the party to study. You pass the exam. You sacrifice unhealthy food. You gain health and energy. You sacrifice spending on luxuries. You build wealth. The pain of sacrifice is temporary, but the rewards are long-lasting. Regret, on the other hand, lasts forever. Sacrifice now or regret later. It's that simple. Most people fail not because they can't understand what to do, but because they can't give up what they must in order to do it. They know they should wake up early, but they won't sacrifice sleep. They know they should eat right, but they won't sacrifice taste. They know they should invest, but they won't sacrifice spending. The gap between knowledge and action is filled with sacrifice, and only those willing to cross that gap ever reach success. Let's be real. Sacrifice is lonely. When you're chasing success, you will feel alone. While others are sleeping, you'll be awake. While others are having fun, you'll be working. While others are laughing, you'll be grinding. That loneliness is part of the sacrifice. And that's where most people fall apart. They want the success, but they don't want to feel left out. They want to belong. They want to be liked. They want to stay comfortable. But greatness is never achieved in comfort zones. You have to be willing to stand apart. You have to be willing to live differently so later you can live better. Sacrifice also means patience, because following simple instructions won't give you instant results. You'll sacrifice time and energy for months or years before you see the reward. That's why so many people give up. They sacrifice for a short time, but then quit when they don't see immediate results. The key is to sacrifice long enough to see the fruit of your labor. Farmers don't plant seeds today and expect crops tomorrow. They sacrifice time, they water, they wait. The instruction is simple: plant, water, harvest. But the waiting, the sacrifice, the patience, that's where people lose faith. Success demands patience, and patience itself is a form of sacrifice. If you really want to achieve your goals, you must learn to embrace sacrifice as part of the journey, not as punishment, but as investment. Every time you sacrifice, you're making a deposit into your future. Every early morning, every late night, every dollar saved, every temptation resisted, it all adds up. Sacrifice is like planting seeds. It doesn't look like much in the moment, but in time, it produces abundance. So stop asking why it's hard. Stop asking why it takes so much sacrifice. Instead, start asking if the dream is worth it. Because if your dream is big enough, you'll be willing to pay the price. If your why is strong enough, the sacrifice will feel small compared to the reward. People who quit usually don't quit because it's too hard. They quit because their why is too small. But if you truly want it, if it matters deeply to you, then no sacrifice will feel too great. Remember, the instructions are always simple. The path to success is not hidden, it's clear. But walking that path requires sacrifice, and sacrifice is what most people are not willing to give. You have to decide today, are you willing to give up what you want now for what you want most? Are you willing to endure temporary discomfort for lasting greatness? Because if you are, then success is waiting. The question is never whether the instructions work. The question is whether you're willing to make the sacrifice to follow them. Stop chasing easy. Easy leads to mediocrity. That is the truth that most people never want to accept, because human nature always pushes us toward what is comfortable, what is convenient, and what requires the least amount of effort. Our brains are wired to conserve energy, to avoid pain, to run from discomfort. And so when faced with two paths, the hard path and the easy path, most people will pick easy every single time. But here's the problem. Easy never produces excellence. Easy never produces greatness. Easy never builds the type of life you dream about. Easy only gives you temporary satisfaction, but it robs you of long-term success. Look around at society. Everywhere you look, there are shortcuts being sold. Lose weight fast. Get rich quick. Learn a skill in 5 days. Master success in 1 weekend. People want the reward without the grind, but it doesn't work that way. If you chase easy, you get the illusion of progress without the reality of results. You end up spinning your wheels, looking busy, but going nowhere. That's why so many people live in cycles of frustration. They keep choosing easy, hoping it will lead them to happiness, but it never does. Easy is the trap. Greatness, on the other hand, is forged in the hard places. It is built in sweat, sacrifice, and discipline. The path of greatness is never easy. Ask any champion, any leader, any innovator, and they'll tell you the same thing. It was hard, it was uncomfortable. It demanded more from them than they thought they had. But it was worth it. They didn't chase easy, they chose hard. And in choosing hard, they unlocked their potential. That's the paradox of success. What feels hard in the moment makes life easier in the long run. And what feels easy in the moment makes life harder in the long run. Think about fitness. It's easy to skip the gym. It's easy to order fast food. It's easy to stay on the couch. That's the easy choice. But what's the result? Poor health, low energy, regret. Now think about the hard choice. Waking up early to train, cooking your meals, pushing through soreness, hard in the short term, but in the long run, you gain energy, confidence, and health. The same applies in finances. It's easy to spend money on luxuries and entertainment now, but hard to save and invest. Yet those who choose the harder path, discipline, end up living freely, while those who chose easy live in debt. That's why chasing easy always leads to mediocrity, because it trades long-term gain for short-term comfort. Mediocrity isn't about being average in talent. It's about being average in effort. It's about settling for less than your best. And that happens when you always pick the easier route. Easy teaches you nothing. Easy never stretches you. Easy never builds character, skill, or strength. Hardship does. Struggle does. Challenge does. You don't become strong in comfort zones. You become strong when you step out into discomfort. You don't become wise by taking shortcuts. You become wise by wrestling with problems, failing, and learning. The person who takes the easy way out every time will always remain stuck in mediocrity because they never developed the resilience or skill that greatness requires. The truth is, success is not about talent as much as it is about grit. There are thousands of talented people who never made it because they kept chasing easy. They didn't want to practice. They didn't want to sacrifice. They wanted success to come to them without struggle. And on the other side, there are people with average talent who achieve greatness simply because they were willing to do the hard things consistently. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. But talent combined with hard work is unstoppable. The difference is always whether you're willing to walk away from easy. Here's what easy really does. It steals your future in exchange for your present. Easy gives you a dopamine hit, a momentary high, but it robs you of long-term fulfillment. Easy is why people stay stuck in jobs they hate, why they never chase their dreams, why they settle for average relationships, why they never build the life they actually want. Because creating that life requires hard decisions, tough conversations, late nights, early mornings, and resilience in the face of failure. Easy feels safe, but it keeps you stuck. When you chase easy, you also lose respect for yourself. Deep down, you know you took the shortcut. You know you didn't put in the work. You know you settled. And when you look in the mirror, you can't lie to yourself. That's why so many people feel empty even when they look successful on the outside. They took the easy path so the victory doesn't feel real. True confidence and pride come from knowing you paid the price, that you earned it the hard way. Nobody can take that from you. Chasing hard instead of easy also changes your identity. Every time you choose the harder path, you're telling yourself, I'm not like everyone else. I'm not here to be average, I'm here to be great. You build self-respect, you build confidence, and you build momentum. Every rep in the gym, every extra hour of study, every sacrifice becomes a vote for the kinds of person you want to be. Over time, those votes add up and you become unstoppable. Easy, on the other hand, erases your progress. Every time you choose it, you reinforce the belief that you're not strong enough, not disciplined enough, not capable enough. And that belief becomes your reality. Easy is popular because it is crowded. Everybody is on that road. But the road to greatness is narrow and lonely because very few are willing to take it. That's why success feels rare. It's not that the instructions are hidden. It's that most people won't take the hard road long enough to see results. They quit halfway. They go back to easy. And easy always welcomes them back, but easy never delivers what it promises. So how do you stop chasing easy? You develop the habit of leaning into discomfort. When you feel resistance, when something feels hard, that's the signal you're in the right place. That's where growth is happening. That's where success is being built. Instead of running from pain, you embrace it. Instead of avoiding struggle, you seek it. You train your mind to see discomfort as opportunity. Because the person who can endure what others run from will always rise to the top. You also need to shift your perspective. Stop asking, why is this so hard? Start asking, who will I become if I keep doing this? Hard isn't punishment. Hard is preparation. The weights in the gym are not there to stop you. They're to build you. The challenges in life are not there to destroy you. They're there to strengthen you. Easy gives you nothing, but hard gives you everything you need to become who you were meant to be. The world rewards the few who are willing to do what most people won't. That's the simple equation. Do what is hard now, and life will be easier later. Do what is easy now, and life will be harder later. Which future do you want? The one where you live with regret, knowing you chose easy, or the one where you live with pride, knowing you conquer hard? You must understand that greatness requires a different mindset. While most people avoid pain, you embrace it. While most people seek shortcuts, you stick to the process. While most people choose easy and stay average, you choose hard and build extraordinary. That's the difference. That's the line that separates the great from the mediocre. So make a decision today. Stop chasing easy. Easy will not give you the life you dream of. Easy will not give you fulfillment. Easy will not make you great. Easy only leads to mediocrity. But if you are willing to embrace the hard, if you are willing to endure, if you are willing to fight through the struggle, you will rise. You will grow. You will achieve what others only dream about. Because in the end, it is not the easy road that takes you to greatness. It is the hard road, the lonely road, the road filled with sacrifice and discipline. That is the road to fulfillment. That's the road to legacy. That's the road to legacy. That is the road to success. And if you walk it long enough, you will discover that the hard path was never really the enemy. It was the gift that shaped you into who you were always meant to be. Discipline and consistency make the difference, not talent alone. This is one of the hardest truths for people to accept because we live in a world that worships talent. From the time we are young, we're taught to admire those who seem gifted, those who stand out naturally, those who can pick things up quickly without much effort. We look at the athlete who runs faster than everyone else, the singer whose voice is powerful from childhood, the student who seems to understand math without studying. And we start to believe that talent is what separates the successful from the unsuccessful. But if you really look deeper, if you study greatness, you will discover something powerful, not only the starting point. Talent without discipline is wasted. Talent without consistency disappears. Discipline and consistency are what turn talent into greatness. The truth is, everybody has some talent. Everyone is born with certain abilities, certain gifts. But talent is like raw gold buried in the ground. If you don't mine it, refine it, and shape it, it never becomes valuable. Discipline is the shovel. Consistency is the fire that purifies. Without them, your talent stays buried. That's why so many people you knew growing up, the ones who seemed the most gifted, never became anything. They relied on talent alone. They thought talent would carry them through life. But the ones who weren't as naturally talented, the ones who kept working, who showed up every day, who practiced with discipline, they're the ones who surpassed everyone else. Discipline is the ability to do what you need to do, even when you don't feel like it. It's the choice to stay focused when distractions are pulling you in every direction. Consistency is the commitment to keep showing up day after day, even when the results are invisible, even when progress feels slow. Together, discipline and consistency create momentum that talent alone cannot match. Talent may open the first door, but discipline and consistency are what keep you in the room. Think about sports. There are countless stories of naturally talented athletes who were unstoppable in high school but never made it to college leagues or the pros. Why? Because they relied on talent alone. They didn't want to wake up early. They didn't want to train hard. They didn't want to study the playbook. Meanwhile, there were athletes with average talent who outworked everyone. They stayed late. They watched film. They trained in the off season. They were consistent. And when talent got lazy, discipline and consistency overtook it. That's why coaches will always choose the player with discipline over the player with talent. But no work ethic. This doesn't just apply to sports. It applies to every area of life. In business, discipline and consistency separate the entrepreneur who builds something lasting from the one who burns out quickly. In academics, it's not the genius who always wins. It's the student who studies daily, who keeps grinding, who consistently improves. In relationships, it's not the most charming person who builds strong bonds. It's the one who consistently shows up, who is disciplined in giving love and respect. Life is built on daily choices, not rare moments of brilliance. Talent is flashy. Discipline is quiet. Talent gets applause. Consistency often goes unnoticed. That's why so many people chase talent. They want recognition. But when the lights fade, when the applause stops, it's discipline and consistency that keep you moving forward. Success isn't built in the spotlight. It's built in the shadows, in the early mornings, in the late nights, in the small decisions nobody sees. That's where discipline and consistency live. One of the greatest examples of this truth is Kobe Bryant. He was talented, no doubt, but what made him legendary was his discipline. He was the first one in the gym and the last to leave. He studied film for hours. He practiced moves thousands of times until they were second nature. His discipline and consistency created the Mamba mentality that separated him from others who had equal or even greater natural talent. Another example is Michael Jordan. Many people don't realize he was cut from his high school team. He wasn't considered the most talented. But his discipline, his relentless consistency, made him the greatest basketball player of all time. The same story repeats in music, art, writing, science, business. The world doesn't remember the people who had talent but never used it. The world remembers the ones who disciplined themselves, who stayed consistent, who never gave up. Talent may create potential, but discipline and consistency create legacy. People get discouraged because they think they're not talented enough. They see others who seem more gifted and they quit before they even start. But that's a lie. You don't need to be the most talented. You just need to be the most disciplined. You need to be consistent. You need to keep showing up. If you commit to that, you will surpass people who are more talented than you. Because talent without discipline is lazy. Talent without consistency is unreliable. But when you are disciplined and consistent, you become unstoppable. The beauty of discipline and consistency is that they're available to everyone. Not everyone is born with talent, but everyone can choose discipline. Everyone can choose to be consistent. Those are choices, not gifts. Every day you decide whether you will show up or not. Every day you decide whether you will give in to excuses or not. Discipline is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Consistency is a habit. The more you practice it, the more natural it feels. Together they form a foundation that talent cannot replace. Discipline means saying no when everyone else is saying yes. It means sacrificing short-term pleasure for long-term success. Consistency means sticking to the process when the results are slow, when progress feels invisible. Most people quit because they confuse slow progress with no progress. They don't realize that consistency is compounding, that small actions every day create massive results over time. You don't see the growth daily, but in a year, in 5 years, the difference is undeniable. Discipline and consistency are also what build character. When you do something daily, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, you shape your mind. You teach yourself resilience. You teach yourself perseverance. You teach yourself that you can rely on yourself. That self-trust is more valuable than any natural talent. Because when life gets hard, talent won't save you. Discipline will, consistency will. Ask yourself, how many times have you started something and quit halfway? How many times have you let motivation fade and gone back to your old habits? That's the gap between talent and greatness. Talent can start, but only discipline and consistency can finish. Success doesn't come to the one who starts fastest, it comes to the one who refuses to stop. The truth is, discipline and consistency are harder than talent. Talent feels good because it's natural. Discipline hurts because it forces you to do what you don't want to do. Consistency feels boring because it's repetitive. But that's exactly why they create greatness. Because few people are willing to master them. The masses rely on talent and quit when it gets hard. The few who embrace discipline and consistency rise above. If you want to change your life, stop asking, am I talented enough? Start asking, am I disciplined enough? Am I consistent enough? Because those are the real questions that determine success. Talent might set the stage, but discipline and consistency perform the play. Talent might get you noticed, but discipline and consistency keep you relevant. Talent might create opportunity, but discipline and consistency turn opportunity into achievement. So today, make the decision to stop leaning on talent alone. Make the decision to cultivate discipline, to build consistency, to show up every single day, no matter how you feel, no matter how slow the progress seems. Commit to the process. Trust the grind. Because if you do, there's nothing in this world you cannot achieve. Talent might start the race, but discipline and consistency will make sure you finish it. When you talk about sacrifice, most people don't want to hear it because the word itself sounds like pain, like losing something, like going without. And let's be real. Nobody wakes up in the morning excited to give something up. We love comfort, we love convenience, we love having what we want when we want. But the truth about success is this: you cannot have the life you dream of if you're not willing to let go of the things holding you back. Sacrifice today for the future you want tomorrow. That's not just a catchy phrase. That's the foundation of every great story, every achievement, every breakthrough. Think about it. Every single person who has achieved something worth remembering had to give up something to get it. Athletes sacrifice nights out, junk food, comfort, and even their bodies in training. Entrepreneurs sacrifice sleep, weekends, and security to chase a vision most people can't see. Students sacrifice hours of fun, hours of hanging with friends just to get that degree that will change their family's future. Parents sacrifice their own dreams sometimes just to give their children a chance to live better. It's not easy, but it's simple. The formula doesn't lie. If you give up a little bit now, you'll reap a lot later. But if you take the easy way out now, you'll pay for it forever. Here's the real question. What do you want tomorrow to look like? Because tomorrow is shaped by the choices you make today. If you want freedom tomorrow, you've got to give up excuses today. If you want wealth tomorrow, you've got to give up wasting time and money today. If you want help tomorrow, you've got to give up laziness and poor habits today. Every dream has a price tag, and the payment is called sacrifice. Most people want the dream, a receipt. They want to flex, they want to shine, they want to celebrate, but they don't want to go through the dark nights where nobody claps, nobody notices, and nobody encourages you. But those silent sacrifices are what produce loud results. The sacrifice is not punishment, it's preparation. See, when you give up comfort today, you're building muscles that will allow you to carry blessings tomorrow. When you say no to distractions today, you're making room for focus that will multiply your efforts tomorrow. When you sacrifice a short-term pleasure, you're creating long-term stability. Too many people want both. They want the good life now, and later, they want to eat the cake and still have it tomorrow. But life doesn't work like that. You can either play now and pay later, or pay now and play later. But either way, the bill always comes due. The smart ones, the successful ones, choose to sacrifice up front so later they can live with freedom. Ask yourself, what's holding you back right now? Maybe it's staying up too late scrolling instead of waking up early to grind. Maybe it's spending money on things that don't matter instead of investing in yourself. Maybe it's holding on to toxic relationships because you're scared of being alone. Maybe it's clinging to bad habits that feel good but keep you stuck. Whatever it is, if you don't let go, it will cost you your tomorrow. Every sacrifice feels heavy in the moment, but regret weighs more than sacrifice ever will. When you sacrifice today, you're making a deal with your future self. You're saying, I'll suffer a little now so you can live better later. That's love. That's respect for yourself. And when you don't sacrifice, when you choose comfort, you're robbing your future self. Imagine yourself 10 years from now. Are you going to thank the version of you that made tough sacrifices, or are you going to regret that you stayed comfortable? The answer depends on what you do right now. Here's the beauty of sacrifice. It compounds. Just like money in a savings account grows with interest, your sacrifices stack up. Every early morning, every late night, every hour of discipline builds into something bigger than you can see right now. You might not notice it day by day, but a year later, you'll look back and realize you're not the same person. That's the reward of sacrifice, transformation. And the people who refuse to sacrifice, they stay the same year after year, blaming life, blaming luck, blaming circumstances, never realizing they just didn't want to pay the price. And don't get it twisted. Sacrifice doesn't mean you'll always lose. Sometimes giving something up opens the door for something greater. You give up fear, you gain courage, you give up excuses, you gain progress. You give up bad company, you gain clarity and focus. Sacrifice is a trade, and if you make the right trades, your life changes completely. The key is to stop looking at what you're losing and start focusing on what you're gaining. Yes, it hurts. Lonely. Yes, it feels unfair sometimes. But success has never been for everybody. It's for the ones willing to pay the price. Most people are not unsuccessful because they don't know what to do. They're unsuccessful because they're not willing to give up what's holding them back. They know they should study, but they don't. They know they should exercise, but they don't. They know they should save money, but they don't. And then they blame life. No, life gave you the opportunity. The sacrifice was the doorway, but you didn't walk through. So today, I need you to stop looking for shortcuts. Stop asking, is there another way? Stop waiting for luck or a miracle. The way is sacrifice. period. You want to be free tomorrow? Sacrifice today. You want to be proud tomorrow? Sacrifice today. You want your kids to live better than you? Sacrifice today. The choice is simple, but it's not easy. But if you embrace sacrifice instead of running from it, you'll find yourself living a life most people only dream about. Because in the end, the only people who get to enjoy tomorrow are the ones who respect it today. And if you want a future worth celebrating, you got to be willing to give something up in the present. Sacrifice is the rent you pay for greatness, and greatness always collects its dues. Focus is power. People underestimate it because it doesn't look flashy. It doesn't make noise. Focus isn't about showing off, it's about shutting out. It's about ignoring 1,000 different distractions so you can give everything you have to the one thing you have to the one thing that matters. And in today's world, the hardest thing to do is focus. Everywhere you turn, there's something demanding your attention. Social media notifications, streaming shows, video games, friends calling you up, even your own doubts whispering in your ear. Focus is a battle. But if you can win that battle, you win in life. Because the truth is, nothing of value is ever built without focus. Think about it. A laser is just light, but when it's concentrated in one direction, it can cut through steel. Your mind works the same way. Scattered thoughts, scattered efforts, they don't accomplish much. But when you lock in, when you decide, this is my mission, this is my target, and you give it your undivided attention, you can break through obstacles you thought were impossible. Focus gives you strength you didn't know you had. The problem with most people is not that they don't work hard. Some of you are busy all day running around, multitasking, doing 1,000 things. And at the end of the day, you're exhausted, but you've accomplished nothing. That's not a lack of effort. That's a lack of focus. And energy without direction is wasted energy. You can pour your life into distractions, and at the end of 10 years, wonder why you're in the same place. Or you can pour your life into your purpose, and in 10 years, look back and be amazed at how far you've come. Focus requires discipline. It requires saying no when everyone else says yes. It requires turning off the phone, closing the apps, skipping the party, and doing what needs to be done, even when nobody else understands. Focus doesn't always feel good in the moment. It feels like sacrifice. It feels like loneliness. It feels like being different. But that's what separates the average from the extraordinary. Everybody wants to shine, but few are willing to block out the noise long enough to build something worth shining for. Here's the truth. Distractions don't always look dangerous. Sometimes they look fun, harmless, even innocent. But every distraction steals from your future. Every wasted hour is an hour you don't get back. And success requires time. You don't plant a seed today and eat fruit tomorrow. You water, you wait, you nurture. Focus is the water that keeps your dream alive. Without focus, the seed withers before it can grow. When you focus, you create momentum. At first, it feels slow, like nothing's happening. But the more you stay locked in, the more results start to pile up. And once momentum kicks in, it's almost unstoppable. That's why focus is so important. It's the bridge between starting and finishing. Most people start but don't finish because they lose focus. They get distracted. They get tired, they chase something new. But champion, they finish what they start. Not because it's easy, not because they don't feel the same temptations, but because they know focus is the difference maker. Focus also sharpens your mind. When you practice concentrating on one goal, one dream, one purpose, you develop mental toughness. You stop being pulled in every direction. You learn to filter out the unnecessary and give your best to what truly matters. And when your mind becomes sharp, opportunities that other people miss become clear to you. Distractions blind you. Focus gives you vision. But let's be honest, staying focused is hard. Life throws challenges at you. Doubts creep in. People around you might laugh, criticize, or even try to pull you down. That's when you have to remind yourself why you started. Focus is fueled by purpose. If your why is strong enough, your focus will be unbreakable. Every time you feel like drifting, remember what you're chasing. Remember who you're doing it for. Remember the future that's waiting on you. Anchor your mind to your vision, and you won't be moved by every little distraction. Sometimes focus means losing people. Not everyone will understand your journey. Not everyone is meant to go with you. And if you're so focused on keeping everyone happy, you will never reach your full potential. You have to decide, do you want to fit in or do you want to stand out? Do you want comfort or do you want greatness? Because focus won't let you have both. It demands that you prioritize, that you cut out what doesn't serve your destiny. And though it hurts in the short term, in the long term, it brings peace, clarity, and success. Focus is also about consistency. It's not just about working hard one day and then losing focus the next. It's about showing up day after day, even when you're tired, even when you're boring, even when nobody's watching. That's when true focus reveals itself. In the quiet, unseen hours when you're building brick by brick. Those bricks eventually become a wall. And the world will only see the wall, not the hours of focused labor you put in building it. But you'll know that every success you enjoy came because you chose focus over distraction, commitment over convenience. Don't confuse being busy with being productive. You can run in circles all day and get nowhere. Productivity comes from focus, from deciding what's important and eliminating what isn't. It's about doing less, but doing it better. It's about going deep instead of wide. A river flows far because it's concentrated. A flood spreads everywhere but goes nowhere. Which one are you? Let me remind you, focus doesn't mean life will suddenly be easy. In fact, it might feel harder because you'll notice how much temptation surrounds you. But every time you choose to stay locked in, you're building strength. You're proving to yourself that you have control over your life, not your distractions. That confidence grows. And once you know you can focus, there's nothing you can't accomplish. Focus is the weapon that turns dreams into reality. Without it, your dreams remain wishes. With it, your wishes become plans, and your plans become achievements. Stop scattering your attention. Stop giving your energy to everything and everyone. Choose your target. Lock in and don't stop until you hit it. Because at the end of the day, success doesn't come to the smartest, the fastest, or the luckiest. It comes to the most focused. Shortcuts are tempting. They always are. They whisper to you, why go through the long, hard road when you can cut across and get there faster? And in that moment, they sound sweet. They look easy. They feel like the smart move. But here's the reality. Shortcuts steal long-term success. They rob you of the process. And the process is where the growth, the strength, and the transformation happen. Everybody wants the reward, but not everybody wants the journey. And when you skip the journey, you skip the lessons that make you strong enough to hold on to the reward when it finally comes. Think about it like this. If you give a kid a trophy they didn't earn, it might look good on the shelf, but it doesn't mean anything to them. Why? Because the value isn't in the trophy, it's in the sweat, the hours, the fight it took to earn it. The shortcut gives you the object, but not the character. And when life tests you, when pressure comes, when challenges hit, you crumble because you never developed the strength the process was designed to give you. That's why shortcuts are dangerous. They don't just cost you time. They cost you growth, and growth is the true prize. The money, the recognition, the success, the lifestyle, those are byproducts. The real reward is the person you become through the grind. When you skip the grind, you stay weak, you stay shallow, and you stay unprepared. The world doesn't respect what you didn't earn. And deep down, neither will you. Look at people who try to shortcut their way to success. Maybe it's cheating on an exam to get a degree. Maybe it's lying on a resume to get a job. Maybe it's taking shortcuts in training, cutting corners in business, or looking for the fastest way to fame. Sure, maybe they win for a moment. Maybe they fool people temporarily. But when life really demands results, they're exposed. You can't fake preparation. You can't pretend discipline. You can't manufacture strength overnight. What you didn't build in the process will show up as a weakness when it matters most. Success is about foundation. A house built on shortcuts collapses when the storm comes. But a house built brick by brick, day by day through sweat and patience, that house stands. Your dreams are the same way. Every skipped step is a crack in your foundation. Every time you take the shortcut, you weaken your structure. And when pressure comes, and it will, you'll wish you had respected the process. See, the process is slow, but it's purposeful. The process teaches you discipline. It teaches you patience. It teaches you how to handle failure, how to adapt, how to persist. The process builds resilience, and those qualities can't be bought, can't be faked, can't be skipped. They can only be earned by walking through the fire. The shortcut tries to take you around the fire, but then when real heat comes, you're unprepared. That's why so many people fold when life gets hard. because they never built the resilience the process was trying to give them. The process humbles you. It forces you to work for it. It forces you to fall and get back up again and again. And every time you rise, you gain strength. Every time you push through, you build confidence. Every time you stay consistent, you grow discipline. That's how champions are made. Not through shortcuts, but through struggle. Not through skipping steps, but through embracing every single step. Even when it hurts, even when it feels endless, even when nobody's clapping for you. Let's be real. Shortcuts are attractive because they promise speed. But speed without stability is dangerous. A car going 200 mph with no brakes isn't impressive. It's deadly. What good is getting to your dream fast if you can't handle it when you arrive? How many people have we seen who make it overnight only to lose it all just as quickly? That's because the process wasn't respected. The shortcut got them there, but they weren't ready to stay there. Success is not about arrival. It's about survival. And only the process equips you for survival. The truth is, the process is the shortcut. It doesn't feel like it, but it is. Because while everyone else wastes years looking for an easy way, the person who just works, who just shows up daily, who just keeps grinding without shortcuts, that person gets there faster in the long run. Why? Because shortcuts always backfire. They set you back. They send you in circles. They make you repeat lessons you should have already mastered. But when you go through the process straight up, no cheating, no skipping, you move steadily forward. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And here's the key. The process builds trust. People respect what you've earned. They believe in the one who has proven themselves, not the one who snuck through the back door. Your reputation, your credibility, your name, these things are built through consistent work, not shortcuts. And once you built that, opportunities open up that shortcuts could never give you. It's the same in personal growth. You can't shortcut character. You can't shortcut wisdom. You can't shortcut leadership. These are forged over time, through mistakes, through pressure, through perseverance. When you skip the lessons, you stay immature. And immature people can't handle big blessings. They ruin them. That's why the process delays you sometimes. It's not punishing you, it's preparing you. It's shaping you into the kind of person who can not only reach success, but sustain it. So ask yourself, where are you trying to take shortcuts in your life? Where are you looking for easy instead of committing to the process? Because whatever you shortcut now will cost you later. You skip discipline now, you'll pay with regret later. You skip learning now, you'll pay with ignorance later. You skip sacrifice now, you'll pay with struggle later. Shortcuts feel good in the moment, but they always leave you empty. You have to fall in love with the process. You have to embrace the long road, the hard work, the grind. Because that's where the gold is. That's where you're transformed. That's where you become the kind of person who can't just achieve success, but hold on to it. If it takes 10 years, then it takes 10 years. Better 10 years of solid building than 1 year of shortcuts and 9 years of repair. Shortcuts are cheap. The process is priceless. When you earn something through the process, nobody can take it from you. It's in you. It's part of your DNA. The world can throw storms at you, and you'll stand because you've been tested. You've been trained. You've been built by the process. And that's what real success is about. So the next time you're tempted by shortcut, remind yourself, the process is the point. The grind is the gift. Don't cheat yourself out of it, because the person who respects the process will always outlast the one who chased the shortcut. In the end, the process wins. And if you commit to it, so will you. Greatness doesn't show up by accident. It doesn't just fall out of the sky and land in your lap. Greatness is not given, it's earned. And it's earned in the places most people run away from. The uncomfortable, the difficult, the painful, the challenging. Greatness is hidden inside the hard path, the path that looks unattractive, the path that demands more of you than you think you can give. That's why so few ever find it, because the majority are too busy chasing easy. They want the title, but not the training. They want the applause, but not the silence. They want the destination, but not the journey. And that's why the words are so true. Greatness comes when you embrace the hard but simple path. You see, success is not complicated. The rules are straightforward. Wake up early, be disciplined. Work on your craft daily, stay consistent, push when it hurts, never quit. These principles are not rocket science. Anybody can understand them. But the reason most people don't live them is because they're not easy. The formula is simple, but following it demands sacrifice, grit, patience, and resilience. And greatness belongs to the ones who choose to stick to the simple formula even when the process gets hard. When you think about champions in any field, sports, business, academics, leadership, even personal life, they all have one thing in common. They didn't run from hard. They leaned into it. They embraced it. They saw what others called a too much as their opportunity. While others quit at the first sign of struggle, they stayed. While others complained, they adapted. While others gave excuses, they executed. That's what separates greatness from average. Average avoids hard. Greatness grows in hard. The hard path is where your character is built. It's where your weaknesses are exposed and your strengths are sharpened. It's where you discover what you're really made of. Easy never reveals your potential. Easy never stretches you. Easy never requires you to dig deep. Only the hard situations pull the best out of you. And that's why greatness is never found on the easy road. If you're looking for comfort, you'll never discover the power that's inside you. It's important to understand that the hard path doesn't mean it's complicated. Life has a funny way of being brutally honest. If you want to lose weight, the formula is simple: eat healthy and exercise. If you want to save money, the formula is simple: spend less than you earn and invest wisely. If you want to be successful, the formula is simple: work hard, stay focused, be disciplined. These are simple truths, but why doesn't everybody do them? Because simple does not mean easy. Simple means clear. Easy means comfortable. And the gap between simple and easy is where most people quit. Greatness comes when you embrace that gap. When you say, yes, it's hard, but it's worth it. Yes, it hurts, but I'm growing. Yes, it takes time, but I'm patient. That mindset separates the dreamers from the doers. Dreamers want easy. Doers accept hard and walk the simple path consistently until their dream becomes real. Think about a seed. To become a tree, it has to break apart underground, fight through the soil, reach toward the sun, and withstand storm. That's a hard process. But the formula is simple: plant, grow, rise. A seed that avoids the hard process never becomes a tree. You're the same way. Your dreams are planted inside you like seeds. But if you refuse to embrace the hard, those seeds never grow. You stay comfortable, you stay buried, and you never see the greatness that was inside you all along. And here's the thing about hard: it's temporary. The pain doesn't last forever. The discomfort doesn't last forever. But the results, they do. The growth, it does. The transformation, that lasts a lifetime. Too many people trade permanent greatness for temporary comfort. They choose easy now and regret later. But those who choose hard now reap greatness later. The simple path requires you to show up when you don't feel like it. It requires you to work when others are sleeping, to practice when others are partying, to focus when others are distracted. And yes, it feels lonely. Yes, it feels unfair. Yes, it feels exhausting. But when you cross the finish line, when you reach the level others only dreamed of, you'll realize the hard was the gift. The struggle made you strong enough to carry the blessing. The beauty of the hard but simple path is that it transforms you while you walk it. You start out weak, uncertain, maybe even afraid. But step by step, as you keep going, you build strength, confidence, and resilience. The same path that breaks others build, and the very obstacles that stop others become the stepping stones that elevate you. That's greatness, not avoiding the storm, but learning to walk through it with power. Remember this: greatness is not in the result, it's in the process. It's not in the trophy, it's in the training. It's not in the applause, it's in the preparation. It's not in the destination, it's in the journey. It's in the journey. That's why people who shortcut the process never laugh. They got the result, but they missed the greatness. Greatness is earned through blood, sweat, tears, and persistence. It's built in the dark before it's seen in the light. When you embrace the hard but simple path, you separate yourself. Because most people are allergic to hard. They quit when it hurts. They give up when it's slow. They back off when it's uncomfortable. If you can stand in that space and keep moving, you'll rise above the crowd. Because greatness doesn't demand perfection. It demands perseverance. It demands that you keep going even when it's tough, even when it's lonely, even when it feels impossible. So ask yourself, are you running from hard or are you embracing it? Are you choosing comfort or are you choosing growth? Because you can't have both. You can't have both. Comfort keeps you average. Hard builds you into greatness. And the truth is, the choice is always yours. At the end of the day, greatness is not about talent, not about luck not about circumstances. It's about mindset, it's about discipline. It's about the willingness to say, I will take the simple path, no matter how hard it feels. I will not quit. I will not look for shortcuts. I will embrace the struggle until it shapes me into who I was meant to be. That's what greatness really is. Becoming the best version of yourself through the hard but simple process of daily discipline. And when you look back years from now, you won't remember how painful it was. You won't remember how long it took. You'll only remember that you didn't quit, that you stayed on the path, that you embraced the hard when others ran. And you'll stand in your greatness knowing you earned it. That's the truth. Greatness comes when you embrace the hard but simple path. The question is, will you? As we come to the end of this message, I want you to sit with this truth and let it sink into every corner of your heart and mind. We've walked through what it takes. We've broken down the difference between what looks easy and what's truly simple. And now it's time for you to understand why all of this matters so much. So much. Life will not hand you greatness. Life will not hand you peace. Life will not hand you discipline, wealth, health, or success. Life will present you with opportunities, with moments, with tests, and it's up to you to respond. It's up to you to decide whether you will keep walking down the path of average or whether you will step into the uncomfortable, the difficult, the discipline-driven path that leads to excellence. You've heard me say it, it's not easy, but it's simple. And I need you to internalize this because most people will keep searching for complicated answers to justify their lack of action. They'll say, I don't know where to start. When the truth is starting is simple. They'll say, I don't know what to do, when the truth is you already know what you need to do. Wake up earlier, grind harder, stay disciplined, cut out the distractions. You're not confused. You're just not committed. That's the real battle. And once you accept that, you take your power back. The world doesn't reward people who just want things. The world rewards people who do the simple things consistently, even when it feels impossible. And let me be clear, you will face resistance. Your body will resist when you want to wake up early. Your mind will resist when it's time to focus. Your friends may resist when you choose growth over comfort. And life itself will resist when you dare to rise above average. But that resistance is not a sign to quit. It's proof that you're on the right path. That resistance is shaping you, molding you, preparing you for the weight of the greatness you've been asking for. Because greatness is heavy. Success is heavy. Responsibility is heavy. And only those who endure the weight of discipline and sacrifice can carry. Think about it. Every dream you've ever had, financial freedom, a strong body, a powerful mind, a legacy for your family, all of those things are not complicated to understand. They're simple. But the reason only a few people achieve them is because most are unwilling to deal with the pain of discipline, the pain of sacrifice, the pain of consistency. They rather stay where it's comfortable, where it's easy. But comfort and ease never birthed champions. Comfort never made history. Ease never created legacies. The ones who make it are the ones who refuse to let comfort rob them of their calling. So the conclusion here is not just about words, it's about decisions. You've listened long enough, you've thought long enough. The real question is, what are you going to do? Are you going to continue waiting for motivation to show up? Or are you going to create discipline in your life? Are you going to keep blaming circumstances? Or are you going to step up and take control of your choices? Because the truth is, you're not waiting on a miracle. The miracle is waiting on you. It's waiting on you to commit to the simple, difficult daily actions that separate winners from everyone else. And don't get it twisted. This is not about perfection. This is about persistence. You're going to fall. You're going to mess up. You're going to miss days. You're going to feel like giving up. But the difference between those who fail and those who succeed is not that they never fall, but that they refuse to stay down. Every single time life knocks them down, they get back up, wipe off the dust, and keep moving forward. That's the mindset you need. That's the mindset that transforms your reality. Look at the people you admire, the ones who inspire you. Every single one of them had to go through a season of difficulty, a season where nothing was easy, but the formula was simple. They put in the hours, they sacrificed the comfort, they disciplined themselves when no one was watching. And now the results speak for themselves. And the same opportunity is available to you. The same principles will work for you. The only difference between you and them is whether or not you'll embrace the simple path when it feels hard. You owe it to yourself, to your family, to your future, to step up. You've been given this one life, and every day you waste chasing easy is a day you lose. Time is not coming back. You don't get a rewind button. You only get today, this moment, this decision. And the truth is, greatness doesn't ask for permission. It demands commitment. If you want to be great, if you want to live a life worth remembering, you have to demand more from yourself than the world demands from you. You can't just settle for surviving. You weren't born to just exist. You were born to make an impact, to live a life that echoes after you're gone. But that life will only come if you stop running from the difficult and start embracing the simple. So here's my challenge to you as we close. Choose one thing today, one action, one discipline, one sacrifice, and commit to it. Don't wait until Monday. Don't wait until the new year. Don't wait for the perfect moment, because there isn't one. The perfect moment is now. Do the simple thing today and then do it again tomorrow and the day after that. Build momentum, build discipline, build consistency, and watch how your life begins to transform step by step, choice by choice, day by day. And when you feel like giving up, when you feel like it's too much, remind yourself, it's not easy, but it's simple. Say it again to yourself, louder. It's not easy, but it's simple. Let that become your anthem. Let that become your reminder when you're tired, when you're discouraged, when you feel like the journey is too long. Because the truth is, if you keep going, you will get there. Success has no choice but to bow to those who refuse to quit. So as I leave you today, I want you to remember this. Stop searching for easy. Stop waiting for luck. Stop wishing for shortcuts. Embrace the simplicity of discipline. Embrace the simplicity of sacrifice. Embrace the simplicity of focus. And no matter how hard it gets, no matter how heavy it feels, no matter how many times you fall, keep reminding yourself, it's not easy, but it's simple. And if you live by that, not only will you reach your goals, not only will you transform your life, but you'll also inspire others to do the same. You'll prove that greatness is not reserved for the chosen few, but for anyone who dares to follow the simple path, even when it's hard. You'll become living proof that while the road may not be easy, the directions are simple and the reward is worth every single step. That's the conclusion. That's the message, and that's the challenge. The rest is up to you.